I'm making plans for my weighted blanket now. I've made quilts in the past, so that helps me out. But of course, this is a whole entire different thing, making a weighted blanket than making a quilt. But at least that might help me. I have the plastic pellets that go on the inside, and I have a lot of little scraps like this, and I'm going to sew enough of these together to make a piece that's 48 by 74. I'm going to leave a couple inches, of course, on the sides, so I'll have enough for the seam, and of course, you're going to lose an inch or so anyway when you fill it up. I changed the size of it a little bit. I'm going to do 48 by 74. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit wider by adding an extra piece on here, and then I'm going to cut it in half, like 48 by 37, so it'll be easier to do one box of pellets in one half, and then do the other square 48 by 37 with the other box of pellets. See how this goes. And now for the next piece. Wow, there's going to be a lot here. It's a little bit narrow, so I can cut this off and sew it on the side, make it as the length I need it. Make it a little wider to get the 48 inches I need. This is one side. I fold it in half so I can cut it down the middle. Then I'm going to do the other side the same way, and then I'll be sewing them together. That way it'll be the same color on both sides, even though. And now for this part, do the same thing. So I got these two ready to go, front and back, and I'm going to sew these together, leaving one side open. This is how it is, and I'm going to reverse it and put it in the right direction here. Obviously, if you put pellets in this thing, this definitely wouldn't work this way because they'd all be all over the place. That's why I gotta make like columns going this direction in here. A whole bunch of columns. Now I'm making the columns approximately 2.5 inches each, going all the way across. I now have both done with lines going this direction. So the next stage is to take the stuff and start filling up these columns, and every time I get enough in there to fill it up a little bit, I'm going to sew this direction so the stuff stays in place. I know there's easier ways of doing things than the way I do it, but it works for me. So I measured it, and at 2.5 inches a piece for each section, there's going to be 15 rows going across this direction. I got my 10-pound bag, and I'm going to divide this up 15 ways and store them in these for the time being. Now to start dividing this up, I do a lot of stuff on the floor, so why not do this on the floor? Got them all divided up, and they're basically a little over 1/2 pound a piece. 19 rows going across, so I'm going to divide it up going that direction. First column. There it is. It's a start. Now to shake it all down to the bottom. I'm not going to worry about a piece or two here and there if it doesn't get to the bottom, but it seems like it's pretty good there. Now to sew this across, I'm going to make sure all the stuff is away from the needle. I'm using a very low setting of stitch on here, so it's very tight, and it probably helps hold the stuff in better the smaller the stitch. They're one roll in, and it's fantastic so far. It's coming out great. Row 3. 3 rows done so far, and it's coming out fantastic. I wrapped some cardboard around the bottom of my sewing machine because this stuff is so rough. I was worried about wearing the color off the sewing machine. Probably does a job on it. This is why right here I gotta keep on pushing the stuff back so it stays away from the needle. First half of the inside all done. Now I'm going to start the second half, and then I'll sew both halves together afterwards. I'm filling up the last row now on it. There, now I got both pieces of the insides done, and now I'm going to sew them together and make one big blanket. This would be about 1 inch at a time because I got to keep on pushing those little pellets out of the way and trying to keep them lined up with the lines on both sides is a challenge too. And here it is, all done. It's not perfect. I got a little bit of the seam, a little bit of the whiteness showing through here, but it's okay. It works. Gonna actually be using this upstairs, but for this movie I'm gonna try it out on the hard floor down here. Oh boy. Oh, the stress is disappearing. I'll see you later. It works.